What up? What up? What up? We are back with another DEI Rising Coaches Spotlight. We have the head women's basketball coach for Moberly Area Community College. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, Miss Hannah Hayden. What up, Hannah? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fabulous. Excited
I'm
to
excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to get rocking and rolling today. Let people know about one of the rising stars. So, first up, next up initiative. You were a part of it. You killed it. You did your thing and impressed many. Even though people would say you are a junior college head coach. You impressed a lot of people to where they would say this young lady is ready to be a head coach of a Division One, and several people on the panel said that. So, talk a little bit about your experience. Just kind of walk us through what that whole thing was like.
Yeah, so it was next up was a phenomenal experience. I mean, first, like just to even get the email, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's such a huge recognition. Looking at the other names that were on there, just an elite group of coaches. And then it was shifting gears to the preparation because then obviously you want to do really well. You want to make a good impression. So that preparation, I think, was huge. I think it's really important. I think as coaches, we we know what we do, and as a head coach, most of those questions are geared towards how do you run your program. And I know what I do on a day-to-day basis, but that preparation is key to be able to articulate in an interview, exactly the direction that you want to take it, because some of those questions as far as culture or how would you handle this, you just want to make sure that it's clear and concise and that you're also able to connect it to the university and the people that are on the committee. So that was what the experience was really about, is in that interview process, like connecting it. The search firm committee, right? They were the athletic director and the president, and being able to connect to them as well. So I thought that experience was huge. Everybody always says like it's very hard to simulate a head coaching interview. And I thought that was definitely the closest thing to it as far as being able to prepare. And it was ran exactly like the interview. Then once you were able to answer those questions, getting that direct feedback right away. So I really enjoyed it. I was nervous at the beginning, but I did prepare really hard for it. And then I thought, that feedback was really crucial, because it was like as soon as the call was over, I'm like, dang, I want to do it again right now using that feedback, and just saw things that I'd be able to do better.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did a phenomenal job preparing. I mean, preparation is so important, but I think within the preparation, you also did a great job and got compliments of just being yourself and talking about what you do and being able to talk about some of your successes, some of the things you do inside the program already, and some of the things you would do. I think you did a great job casting vision, which is not easy to do. What did you take away, and what did you actually love about it? You kind of touched on it, but if you had to say, what did you love most about the experience, and what did you take away?
Yeah. I mean, again, loved everything about the experience. And I think not only would it help me, when I do have an interview or I'm in that position, but even just the preparation, like, when you go on a podcast and people are like, hey, talk about the 3 things that are most important in your program. And again, most of the time we know them, but sometimes if you're on the spot, then you could be thinking about just wherever your mind is, like, oh, well, defense or whatever. And that's not really it. So just being able to, it was almost kind of like a self-exploration or a self-study, and just being able to go back and reflect and again, just really be able to articulate it. So that was the part that I really enjoyed. Really good takeaway was, again, like that feedback, like, whenever I was kind of going through that introduction of myself and this is who I am and stuff. And then I concluded with my why, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I killed that. Okay, that was good. Now put your why in front and lead with that. So, I thought, I just thought that was really helpful to just get that perspective, and you're getting feedback from people that are in it, right? I mean, they're experts in that field. So everything about it was awesome.
So, our expert, the first round was Katie Young Stout from Turnkey. This time it was Herb Courtney from Renaissance, who did a fabulous job.
Yes.
Herb Courtney's definitely going to make a name for himself in this space. He's done a great job. Katie's already been recognized as 40 under 40, and I think she just got recognized with another award just the other day. She continues to kill it. Congratulations on your new baby boy, Katie. And then next up, just dealing with the search firm. How was that actual part of the process different than just a normal interview, or, like you said, podcast interview? What part about that specifically kind of made it different?
I mean, I think just knowing that you need to make a really good impression, right? Like
Right.
it's one of those things. I think about it like when we go out and recruiting, you're either marking kids on or you're marking kids off. So,
Right.
just kind of that pressure and wanting to make that impression, like you don't want to get marked off the list. You want to end that in the good column. So
Yeah.
I think that was one of the biggest parts. But you said like Herb did such a good job. Like he was putting himself in the AD chair, like when he finished up the interview, like, okay, now do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me? Just yeah, everything about it. But I think that was the biggest part.
Yeah, awesome simulation. And again, Herb Courtney just kind of gave feedback along with the DEI Alliance leadership team, gave back feedback, and just a great experience. Like I said, you were definitely one of the standouts. You did a tremendous job, so we want to make sure we give you your love. So you were nominated by the group that you represent, which is embRACEus, led by Penny Collins, founded by Penny Collins, many other diverse group of coaches from women's basketball, agents, MBA, search firm, ADs, you name it, just people that are influential in the basketball space. Talk a little bit about embRACEus. How'd you get connected? Talk about Coach Penny Collins, and then just a little bit about your experience with embRACEus so far.
Yeah, sure. So I actually got connected with embRACEus, and I had the opportunity last year to be a part of NJCAA Top Connect. And, Penny was a speaker in there, Dr. Brittany Azell, some of our embRACEus leaders were in there. And it was actually right after Top Connect finished up, and I was sending out my thank you emails to those speakers that took the time to get on there and share with us young coaches. And after that thank you email, Penny actually gave me a call and asked me to be a part of the group. So of course I was honored to be able to do that. And, since then, just embRACEus, the platform is to transform and empower and promote, young coaches that want to be agents of change and want to continue to grow and give to this profession, and more importantly, the student athletes. So, it's an honor to be a part of a prestigious group like this, to have, again, built-in mentors. Like Penny is the founder of it. He's a Division I head men's basketball coach, and he's somebody that I can pick up the phone and call anytime, for advice. And, I think that's really huge. Like it's a professional network, and we do tons of things to try to develop coaches, coaching clinics and things like that. But more importantly, just like the personal support. So just an example, like last year we had a few players in a serious car accident, and there, the embRACEus members that were reaching out to me personally, like, hey, I know that this is a tough time for you as a coach too. We're here for you. Let me know if you need anything. That part is really big. So, of course, the overall mission, I think it started with promoting, good hiring practices, and we got to make sure that that we are pushing, we're pushing hiring minorities, and we have to make sure that coaching staffs are representative of the groups that they're coaching, and especially people of color and women. And so I'm proud to be a part of that, and continuing to push for that. And then again, just the professional network and the personal support as well. I'm super grateful for my embRACEus family, and it's a movement, not a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a movement. I'm blessed to be a part of that movement as well, and a member of it. And I love everything about embRACEus. Definitely an elite group of people who just care and want to be agents of change for the better. And I'll add to this too. I love the mental health has been one of the initiatives that we put a lot of energy into, and not just coaches' mental health, but also student athletes. So excited to see more great things from embRACEus. So I had to give our shout out to embRACEus. They are part of DEI Alliance. So we always want to show love. Let's talk a little bit about you before we go. Let's talk about your story. Background, you played at Oak Hill. You were a really elite high school player, played at the highest level. You've been a head coach at different spots, non-Division I. You've been a Division I assistant. Now you're back at Moberly. You've been to nationals, 27-4 this year or last year. Probably, I don't know, you probably haven't lost more than 20 games in the time you've been there. So talk a little bit about the success there. Just talk a little bit about your journey in this crazy college hoops game.
Yeah, so the journey has been a blessing, and I think that's something that I've really tried to be intentional about enjoying, and I think especially since COVID hit, that's something. Just thinking about the journey that year, and I have to correct you, Brian. We were actually 29-4 that year.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you. We
But
need
that,
those. We
that
need
was a
every
special
win count.
team. Hey, that was a special team, and that's really enjoyed that team as people. But that was one of my biggest reflections as a coach is thinking back on that year. From we made a video like in September, and it was like the girls got on my phone. I didn't have it, and they were like, "Hey, this is the preseason preview. We're going to Texas. Everybody, listen, we're going to Texas, which is where our national tournament is in Lubbock." And we were really focused on that year, and I don't think that part was wrong, right? Because it helped push us through the year. But at the end of the year, after we won everything we could have won. We won the conference, we won the region, we won the district. And we didn't get to go to the national tournament because of COVID. And some of my players were getting on Twitter like, man, they were heartbroken, and they're like, even though we came up short, it was a great year. And I'm like, we came up short. We won everything that we could have won. But we were so focused on kind of the end result and where we wanted to go that I think at some points in the season, we kind of lost sight of the journey. And even just thinking about when we won the region championship, and we lost that game by 5 the year before. And we come back there and we win the region championship. And to be honest, I feel bad looking back on it. Like I was a one-track mind. I'm like, all right, get the plaque. Let's get in the locker room. Now we have to win the district to go to Texas. And I don't think I really fully enjoyed that moment. So just talking about the journey, that's something that I try to be really intentional about. Like my word for this year has been like present, just being present and enjoying every moment because you never know what things can happen. That was one of the most special years I've been a part of as a coach. And, it was almost like fast forward mode all year, like, okay, we got to get down to Lubbock. So, but just, the experience of basketball and the journey has taken me on through my life. I mean, I just think about, I was just telling my players this yesterday, actually. We were just talking about some things and something my grandpa told me when I was growing up playing. He was like, hey, you have a gift with this game of basketball. So give it every single thing that you have and also get every single thing that you can out of it. And that's something that I've just taken with me ever since. And, going out to Oak Hill, that was the first experience of, not being one of the best players and by far not being one of the better athletes on that team. And so I had to figure out, how I could make an impact on that team. I joke around like I really didn't have any business being on that team besides passing everybody the ball. And then I think when my coaching journey kind of began, or when I knew I wanted to be a coach, was my senior year because, again, my value on that team was keeping everybody on the same page, being able to reach people. We had kids from all over the country. My roommate was from Brooklyn, New York. I'm a kid from Missouri, right? We had girls from LA, had international teammates and things like that. And I mean, my role was to just be the glue, again, get them the ball and kind of stay out of the way and keep everybody motivated and encouraged. And so that's when I really started buying into, kind of the intangible pieces of basketball. And that kind of carried through my college career. I played junior college basketball, and then I finally reached my goal of being a Division I player. And then, was really fortunate to get into coaching as soon as I graduated. I graduated May 2014. I started my first coaching job, June 1st. And just it's been an amazing experience and a journey and just everything that you learn along the way about yourself, really. And so all the time people are like, oh, what are you teaching the kids? And really, they're teaching you things all the time. But the biggest thing that I try to do now is just share that perspective because as soon as you get done with that, some of the girls again yesterday, like, the days are long, but the years are short. And this time is so fleeting. So, it's easy to get caught up into like, oh, the long days and the early morning waits. And then we have to go to class and come straight to practice and go straight to study hall. And I'm like, this, you can get caught up in the complaining of what's hard. But one, we don't know what hard is yet because you haven't had to graduate and pay any bills or do anything like that. Yeah. And then two, when even a few years out, you'll miss the days of when you're bored in your dorm room and you're all 7 of you are up, in a room watching a movie together and laughing and our girls TikToking and doing all that stuff. So you'll miss those days, just having those built-in friendships and people to rely on and people to lean on, whenever you need something. So that's the biggest thing that I try to do is just share that perspective with our players. And I want them to enjoy every moment and for them to get every single thing that they can out of their experience too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. What would you say, and going back to your playing career, I'm sure your first of all, it's always value for somebody who can pass everybody the ball. Let's be real about that.
Yeah, I was important.
That's important. And then secondly, I'm sure that led to your coaching career and how you kind of go about leading your team and assisting. What would you want people to know? 2 or 3 things you would want people to know about you as a head coach. Maybe a recruit watching this. You never know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the only people that I really care what they know are my players or recruits, and I think like the biggest thing that I just want to be known for, is we want to provide our players like life-changing experiences, right? Like we want you to come here and leave a better person than you were whenever you came. We want to make our players better players, but again, more importantly, better people. We want to compete at the highest level. We want to compete on a national level. But at the same time, again, like those experiences that I look back on, and all the memories that I made and the people that I connected to, that's what I want to provide my players. So, again, that does go with recruiting. Like if we say we want to give you a great experience all the way around the board, we have to put you around really good people. Because yes, to me, winning is a big part of the experience, but so is enjoying who you're around. And then just as a coach, I want to just be known for somebody that that really, really cares and will do anything for you, but at the same time doesn't let anything slide. And again, just trying to be the person that I know that I needed whenever I was playing. I needed somebody to be on me, to hold me accountable, to believe in me, to push me to be my best. But I needed somebody that wasn't going to let anything slide, to bring the best out of me. So that's what I try to do for my players. Are you muted?
I put you for a second.
Okay.
We got the fun round now. Okay, we're gonna go back to your Oak Hill days and your Missouri days. What was your pregame music then that you listened to, and what is your pregame music now?
Oh, it has changed a lot. So thinking back to high school, college, I'm a Missouri girl, right? So of course, Nelly.
Got to represent for Nelly.
Nelly's a staple. So then in college, I would say, T.I. was a favorite of mine, Lil Wayne. Like I was all about in college, just like getting hyped up and getting ready to go. Now as a coach, it's about chilling out and relaxing.
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. So I will we play music before every practice, and the girls will boo me off of there because I like R&B. So I'm gonna put on Alicia Keys and Ella May and even like Tyrese and Avant and things like that. So they're trying to tell me like, Coach, there's a time and a place. Like you're trying to put us to sleep, but that's what I listen to all the time. So that's my pregame music now.
I love it. What about pregame meal or favorite meal to eat, favorite meal to cook? Doesn't have to be pregame, just anytime. Yeah. Favorite meal to cook, favorite meal to eat.
So my favorite thing to eat also happens to be one of the only things that I can cook well. And that's salmon. I love big salmon. I'll eat salmon 5 times a week if I could. So that's definitely my favorite, and it's easy because you could just put it in the oven.
I love it. What about if you had to say, are you fouling down 3 for 8 seconds, or are you letting it play out?
I'm fouling down 3. Am I up 3 or down 3?
Sorry, up 3.
I don't think it's I think it would really depend on who we're playing and some other factors in the game. But I would say as a general rule, I'm going to play the possession out. Our program is always known for our defensive identity. So we're going to switch everything and not give up any open looks and finish it with the box out. We're going to probably rely on our defense to win the game right there. I would say 8 out of 10 times that's what we're going to do.
What about your why in coaching? What would you say your why is?
My why in coaching, again, is I think to provide our players with that life-changing experience and the experience that I had, all the lessons that I learned, and really how college basketball made me the person that I am from all the things, fighting through adversity, learning how to show up and try to be your best on even on the bad days. That's my why. Again, I want to make an impact. I want to build these relationships with our players that, like I do, like my former players that go on to the next level, that they're calling back for advice, for letters of recommendation, when something good happens and something bad happens. That's my why. So I got into coaching because of my love for basketball. Just that's really the only thing that I cared about. From 5th grade on, that was the biggest thing for me, and that is why I got into it. Just because I'm just such a big time competitor, and from playing college basketball, I just always had this idea that I thought I knew more than everybody and that I could do it better. But that alone will not be enough to keep you in this profession, right? It requires too much. Just of your time and your emotional energy. So really what keeps me in it is the players, and again, being able to be the person that they need, and helping them develop and become, the young women that they're going to be, and be tomorrow's leaders, because that's what we need.
So last one, what would you say is a funny story you love to tell in coaching? What's one funny story? I know you got plenty.
There's lots of them, but probably I like to make fun of myself. So probably the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. I wish I could say this was my first year as a head coach, but I remember it was my second, because my second year as a head coach at Harris Stowe, I had a really good assistant, Chris Harris. He was a veteran. He really, really taught me how to be a head coach as my assistant. I mean, he'd been doing it 30 years. And nice. We went back to this classic. So my first year as a head coach, we went to this classic in Tennessee at Bethel, who's always a top NAI program. Yeah. And we got our butts kicked by 30, 2 games in a row. And so my second year, we went back there. And I mean, we were completely different, right? Like we knew we were going to win some of those games. We actually upset them at their place at their classic after they beat us by 30. But it's an intense game. And it's going to be the end of a quarter. Or it had to be the end of the half, because we were going the other way, and my post player is taking the ball out. You know how in practice it's like you'll try to tell one team something, you'll try to go up to them and say, "Hey, run this on the other end," so that your team, the defense, doesn't hear them. And I literally left our sideline and walked under our basket as she's taking the ball out to throw it into our point guard to tell her what I wanted them to run down there. Like, talk about leaving the coach's box. I'm under the basket. Like, hey, when we get down here, run 4. Trying to tell her. My assistant's like, Hannah, the refs, the players, like nobody knew what to do. I was so caught up in the moment. That's always a good one. Me and him joke around about it a lot. Like, he's like, Hannah, I've been coaching a long time. I've never seen the sideline to go out and tell a kid what to run literally on the floor. I think it threw everybody off. I didn't get a technical for leaving the box or anything, because I think everybody was shocked that I even did that. I was just like an out-of-body experience. I was so competitive. I wanted to make sure we got that last possession and we ran what I wanted to run. So I do get out of the coach's box a lot still, but I'd never go literally on the floor under the other team's basket.
I love it. Well, thanks so much, Coach, for taking the time to let us get to know you today. Love the shirt. How was it? Last thing we'll end with is tell us real quick about this year's team. I know you guys start in about a week. Tell us real quick about your excitement for this year's team and any last words you have, and then we'll let you go. Thanks so much.
Sure. Okay. Super excited about this year's team. Lots of new faces. So one thing that I'm really proud of is that last year, in a COVID year where even junior college players were granted an extra year of eligibility, if they chose or if they didn't have the opportunity to move on, we still placed 6 players at the next level, 4 Division I and 2 Division II, and in a reduced COVID season. So that's something that I'm really proud of, is our players being able to move on. Now, with that being said, we only have 1 player that has any significant college experience in our program back. And, a few returners, 4 other returners, that one coming off back-to-back ACL, so she doesn't have a lot of experience, and 3 other freshmen that did not get to play on last year's team, just because honestly we're pretty talented, so they just didn't get a lot of opportunities. And then we have 10 new players. So this year's team is talented, pretty inexperienced. I don't think rankings mean much, but they've ranked us number 20th in the preseason NJCAA poll. So to me, all that's good for is a big target on your back. So right now we're just trying to understand that every game we're going to get people's best shot. We've played in the region championship the last 4 years in a row here. So, that kind of comes with it as well. So we're just trying to prepare and get ready right now. through preseason, junior college, it's freshmen and sophomores, and a lot of junior colleges have juniors this year. And we're going to be even, junior college, everybody's young, but I think we're going to be younger this year because we don't have all the juniors that everybody else does. So, we have to show up and work. It's Moberly. That's the tradition here. So that's what I've told everybody. Nobody cares. We got to work harder. What was the second part of that question?
Just any last words you have before we let you go?
Just thank you for having me on here. Again, thanks to Rising Coaches for the opportunity. And next up, again, shout out to embRACEus. It's NJCAA Day, so I'm proud to have been an NJCAA student athlete and an NJCAA coach. People that aren't recruiting junior college players, you're missing out. These players are getting experience, at a high level with and against other Division I players. So, there's the transfer portal, kids averaging 1 point a game, or there's JUCO kids that have been playing and getting lots of good experience, in-game experience. You can't simulate that. So don't underestimate junior college athletes because there's really, really good kids and really good players here. And then just, again, thanks for the opportunity, Brian, and being a mentor for me and everything that you do for me.
Yeah, no doubt. We believe in you. Excited that the world's getting to know more of who you are, and excited for the season. NJCAA Day. So definitely shout out to all the JUCO products out there. Hashtag JUCO products.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely love that we got a chance to get to know you today and more people get to follow you. So keep up the great work, and we look forward to continued support from afar and embRACEus family to the end.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian.
All right, girl.
All right.